Peter Sweden here. So you've probably seen this CNN blackmailing thing going on recently, where CNN is basically threatening to dox a anonymous guy on the internet who made a meme that Trump tweeted, where he wrestled CNN to the floor. The thing is, in Sweden, this is not anything new. This has been going on in Sweden now for several years, because in Sweden the mainstream media have been working with Antifa to try and dox people who have been having their wrong opinions online. So let me tell you a bit more about it. So in Sweden, there is, well, I can start with one group in particular called the research group, or Researchgruppen in Swedish. They have been working very hard to they and some others have been making a database of people with the wrong opinions, a very extensive database with a lot of personal details. You know, they've even got the medical records and so on of some of these people. So they go online, and the people maybe post some comments on Facebook or on a forum which doesn't agree with their opinion. And these guys, they're Antifa, so they're far left communists. So anyone to the right of Karl Marx or Stalin has the wrong opinion according to them. So these guys, they have built a extensive database of people with the wrong opinions, and the mainstream media in Sweden has been funding this. They have been this one big newspaper in particular called Expressen, which is one of the biggest newspapers in Sweden, and they have been working with this group, and basically so these Antifa people basically have been working to dox and make a opinion database of people with the wrong opinions, and then the mainstream media have used this database to go and harass ordinary citizens. So as I said, Expressen, this newspaper, they for example have hung out a elderly pensioner who has criticized mass migration, having the wrong opinions online, so they go to his house and they put his photo on the front page, and they dox him and everything right in the newspaper. So this is the kind of thing going on in Sweden for several years now, and it's insane. The mainstream media in Sweden is actually funding these things in Sweden. They're paying for it and they're funding it. So this CNN blackmailing thing is nothing new in Sweden at all. So it seems like CNN now is taking after communist Sweden style tactics. It's insane. It should not be allowed, but in Sweden it's allowed. There was a court case, and the newspaper won. I think of it in Sweden, if you have the wrong opinions, you can be prosecuted for hate speech. For example, there is this 70-year-old woman who said that migrants, quote, burn stuff and go on the toilet in the street, unquote. And she's now being prosecuted. She's actually risking 2 years prison for writing that on Facebook. And then you have these Antifa people going around, and the mainstream Antifa and the mainstream media in Sweden going around doxing right-wingers in Sweden who have the wrong opinion. In Sweden, that considering what the government can do, considering that this elderly person is risking 2 years in prison for having the wrong opinions, there can be some consequences of that in Sweden. And guess what? This research group, which consists of Antifa members, they actually got a prestigious journalistic prize in Sweden for their work in doxing right-wingers. And guess who? At this award ceremony, guess who gave them the prize? None other than Hanna Stjärne, who's now CEO of SVT, which is the Swedish state-owned television, Swedish state-owned media. She's now CEO there, and so she is. And one of the research group members, formerly research group, she actually started working at the Swedish state-owned media as well, not long ago. So there's that as well. In Sweden, the whole situation is quite dodgy, to say it that way. Not just the media, but the whole state involvement thing as well. It's dodgy. What CNN has done here is despicable, and I think I usually say when kids are growing up, they get brainwashed in school. And then when they are grown up, they continue to receive their daily brainwashing from the mainstream media. And I think it's really, really important to break the narrative that the mainstream media is pushing, because in a democracy, the mainstream media really is very, very important in how people think and vote. So the narrative that the mainstream media is pushing has a very big impact on how people think. So it's really, really important to break the narrative that the mainstream media is pushing and have real alternative media and independent journalists like me to get the real truth out there, so people wake up and actually see what's going on. Because this is why governments have been getting away with what they have been getting away with recently, with all kinds of things. The mass migration crisis and all these things. They would never have been able to get away with that if the mainstream media hadn't been pushing their narrative. So CNN will really be in big trouble after this. And I think more and more people are waking up to the fact that the mainstream media is the enemy of the people. The mainstream media is the enemy of the people. And the more people who realize that, and the more people who wake up to the truth, the more we will be able to see a change, and hopefully be able to save the West. And I think, and that's one thing that Donald Trump is doing really, really good, is showing people that the mainstream media is the enemy of the people and how fake they actually are. They are fake news. They invented this meme trying to call us, the independent journalists and alternative media, fake news. It just backfired straight in their face, because they are the real fake news. That's what they try to do. When they are guilty of something, they try and invent it and accuse others of being what they actually are themselves. That's a well-known tactic. So I think we'll be seeing more and more distrust in the mainstream media, and I think that's a good thing, because people need to know what the truth is. And on that note as well, as I said in my previous video, I will be going to Sicily here soon to report on the ground, real news, what's actually happening down in Sicily on the front lines of the migrant crisis, because Sicily has been taking in a load of migrants recently, and the mainstream media has been almost completely silent. So I will be going there as well, if you haven't heard about that. And make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends, and I'll see you guys later.